Welcome back to Thoughts, the channel where we cover everything and anything going beyond the general status quo. So let's just jump right in. Today we are talking about the recent pot legalization in Canada. Alright, not this kind of pot, get that out of here, but marijuana, cannabis. So pot was recently legalized in Canada, and there's been a lot of people pro and a lot of people against. So we're just going to discuss it. So I'm gonna say I do see some benefits and some cons of the legalization. For one, I do think now that it's legalized, it's easier for the government to start regulating and also to kind of start limiting the black market. Because before there were a lot of people who were using pot, and obviously all of it was sold through the black market. But now it's legalized, people can buy it through the government, they can buy it online. There's not a lot of shops that actually can actually sell it yet, but that's going to be coming in place in the future. And in doing so, I also think that it helps with things like catching people who are driving under the influence. Because before, since it wasn't legal, we had measures, obviously, where you can test if someone's under the influence while drinking alcohol. But now I think they also have blood tests where they can monitor pot, or they can see if you're high. I don't know exactly how it works. Then the other thing I think is really good is now the government, the country can actually collect tax money off of it, because before it was under the black market, so the country wasn't getting any tax money, and that can go into a lot of things like infrastructure, which I do think is beneficial for the country as a whole. The only thing that this might be a smaller issue, which is more specific to me, I personally hate the smell and I don't want to go walking around smelling marijuana, but what can you do? I do think there are benefits with the legalization. The other question is, marijuana is a gateway drug, so now that it is legal, is it going to promote more use of other drugs that can be a lot more harmful than pot? So we'll see. Or do you think that more people start smoking pot because it is legal? That is another question. Now the last thing I want to cover is going from Canada to the United States. So I was reading an article, I've also watched some bits on the news about some of the rules and laws of going to Canada into the States and some of the questions being asked. So don't quote me because I don't know if I have this 100% right, but these are some of the things I've heard and read. So when going into the States, some of the things that you can now be asked are, have you ever bought pot in the past, purchased, have you ever smoked pot, purchased, or the one that I think is the most ridiculous if it's true, do you own any shares in pot stocks? So one thing, yes, if you're carrying pot while going into the States, that is definitely no-no. If it's illegal there, just don't do it. I think that's pretty common sense. But the other two, have you ever bought or smoked in the past, or do you own any in your portfolio? Sorry, 3. I think those are absolutely ridiculous, because now that it's legal, you're not breaking the law. So I feel as long as you're not going into the country with pot, you should be fine. And the one with, do you own any pot stocks? Do you own any pot stocks? I think that is absolutely ridiculous, because one, it doesn't speak to you as a person. It just means that you're investing in a company that you think might be able to do well in the future, and you might still bring a return in the future. So I don't think that should have any say on how you get into the country. And the other thing is, what if you have mutual funds that are 1% of your portfolio could be invested in pot stock? You might not even know. So I don't know. If that's true, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. I want to hear from you. Are you pro pot legalization? Are you against? What do you think about the rules going into the States? Do you know more than I do? Anyways, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. And thanks a lot for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you have anything you want me to cover or discuss, let me know. And we will catch your thoughts on the next video.